Tragic endings, whether in anime, movies, TV series, or books, can be some of the strongest storytelling tools, but only when used correctly. Sometimes that sense of loss makes us think about the work and its story for a long time, something a happy ending can't always evoke. Today, I want to go over 10 of the most heartbreaking endings in anime. But before we start, I want you to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified early about future videos. So without further delay, let's get started.
I believe in you, Lucy. Lucy.
Oh, David.
Number 10, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I know our work with this anime isn't finished yet. What I mean is that its second season is going to be released, but still, that doesn't mean this anime shouldn't be on this list. Even though it was only 10 episodes, I really wasn't expecting an ending like that. It made sense, there are no happy endings in Night City, but why did David have to die like that? I didn't even notice Rebecca's death, it happened so fast, that girl just disappeared. Damn you, Atom Smasher, but at least because of David's self-sacrifice, Lucy survived and went to the moon and reached her dream. I wish it had ended differently. Number 9. The ending of this anime was emotionally both shocking and bitter, because unlike many shonen anime, it doesn't follow the path of the hero survives and achieves a complete victory. Every time one of the main characters fought a villain, I was stressed, thinking, what if this one dies too? And guess what happened? Both of them would die. And every time, things just got worse. Sure, fighting a corrupt system has a heavy price and isn't easy, but come on, it was really bad. In the end, that corrupt system collapsed and the people were happy, but Tatsumi? What about Leon? What about the rest? Some fans were unhappy with the ending because it didn't give enough space for emotional relationships and character development. Well, they're right. With only 24 episodes, I didn't even know which one of them I should cry for.
よく聞き取れませんでした。もう一度言い直してください。エラー。
Number 8, Plastic Memories. The ending of Plastic Memories is one of those endings that doesn't rely on shock or plot twists. Instead, it works through a simple truth that slowly settles heavy in your heart. When we reach the end, it's as if the anime becomes honest with us and says, there was never supposed to be a miracle. Tsukasa and Isla went through everything hoping that maybe they'd find a way. But that's exactly the point, the anime deliberately doesn't create a way out. Because its theme isn't saving, it's facing reality. In the final moments, more than Isla's death being painful, it's the calmness she has that hits the hardest. It's like she had accepted much earlier than Tsukasa that their relationship, just like all the good moments in life, has an expiration date. And right there, the real message of the story becomes clear. The value of a relationship isn't in how long it lasts, but in how intensely you experience it. The ending of Plastic Memories is bitter, but it's not depressing. It feels like a realistic goodbye that may hurt, but helps you appreciate the moments you had even more. And it's exactly this honesty that's made its ending stay in so many people's minds even after all these years. Number 7, Elfen Lied. At the end of the anime Elfen Lied, we witness one of the most emotional and controversial endings in the world of anime. The ending is deliberately designed to be ambiguous, forcing the viewer to think about the fate of the characters. After the escalation of the crisis and intense conflicts, Lucy, who has repeatedly swung between violence and humanity, decides to confront her past and pay the price for her actions. She writes a letter to Kuta. A letter that can symbolize confession, apology, and even an attempt to break free from the endless cycle of suffering. In the final scene, when the doorbell rings, the viewer never truly learns whether Lucy has actually returned or not. The only thing we see is a broken frame of the music box statue that once represented their peaceful moments. This ambiguity can be a sign of the end of a painful era and the possible beginning of a new hope, or perhaps a reminder that the past never fully disappears. This open ending is what has kept Elfen Lied a topic of discussion among fans for years after its release, with everyone having their own personal interpretation of it. Number 6, Devilman, Crybaby. The ending of Devilman, Crybaby is deliberately designed to leave the viewer with a deep sense of emptiness and helplessness. In the final episode, as the last battle between Akira and the demonic forces reaches its peak, the world is practically collapsing. Humans, out of fear and hatred, kill each other, and this proves that the devil didn't even need to directly intervene to destroy humanity. Planting fear in their hearts was enough. Akira, who has always had a kind and pure heart, witnesses how all his efforts to make a difference ultimately fail against the wave of hatred and chaos. In the end, when he confronts Ryo, a painful truth is revealed. Ryo, who was actually Satan, never understood what love and compassion meant, but just when he finally realizes it, Akira is no longer alive. The contrast between this belated understanding and the complete destruction of the world forms the core message of the anime's ending. Sometimes even the strongest hearts can't stop humanity from falling, if humans themselves choose the path of destruction.
People here, all of them, were given such unfair lives.
Number 5. Angel Beats. The story reaches a point where the emotions and the core philosophy of the anime fully reveal themselves. After all the conflicts and the efforts the members of the SSS have made to uncover the secret of the afterlife world, each of them slowly accepts the truth that this world is a place for healing wounds and letting go of regrets. One of the most emotional moments happens when Otanashi realizes that his heart, which had been donated in the real world, has been beating inside Kannade's chest, and this means that the reason for her being in this world was only to do one remaining thing: to thank the person who had given her a second life. This confession is both heartbreaking and liberating, because love and gratitude are exactly what their souls needed in order to be set free. After each member disappears one by one, leaving only Otanashi and Kannade behind, the moment when the two of them dissolve in each other's arms becomes a symbol of the end of their long journey, a journey that began with chaos but ends with peace. And of course, the final ending, where in a new world, in a new life, two people resembling Otanashi and Kannade pass by each other, carries a clear message: even if everything starts over again, true connections between people will always find a way back. This ending is a combination of hope, redemption, and the bitterness of parting, and it's exactly what has made Angel Beats remain so memorable in the minds of its viewers.
Number 4. Clannad. In the ending of Clannad, After Story, we encounter one of the most emotional and debated endings in the world of anime. After all the pain and suffering Tomoya goes through losing Nagisa, his emotional collapse, and then raising Ushio, the story enters a deeper and more surreal layer. From the very beginning, the anime hinted at the parallel world of lights, suggesting that hope and wishes can change reality, but only at the end do we realize that these worlds were meant to merge. When Ushio collapses in the snow and Tomoya's heart breaks from grief, the collection of wishes Ushio and Nagisa created acts like pure energy. These wishes turn back time and give Tomoya another chance, this time to save Nagisa from her tragic fate. At the climactic moment, when Tomoya holds Nagisa in his arms and the lights appear around them, we understand that his long, painful journey wasn't meaningless, it was a path toward a deeper understanding of family, love, and the value of life. The ending of Clannad isn't a reset of events, but the result of all the love and wishes the characters built throughout the story, a bittersweet ending that portrays the true meaning of a miracle.
Number 3. Grave of the Fireflies. The ending of Grave of the Fireflies is one of the bleakest and most memorable moments in the history of animation, because without any exaggeration or hero-making, it shows the real consequences of war on the lives of two defenseless children. In the final moments, when the narrative returns to the beginning of the film, we see that Seita has died in the train station, holding Setsuko's metal tin in his hands, an object that had become the symbol of all his efforts to protect his little sister. This return to the starting point shows the audience that the entire story we've watched has actually been a recollection of the last days of Seita's life, an external look at a path that inevitably ended in tragedy. This technique makes the film's ending even more emotionally devastating, because we realize that even Seita's unconditional love for Setsuko wasn't enough to stand against the cruelty of war. On the other hand, the image of the two children's spirits watching the modern city from the hills carries a clear message: what happened to them must never be forgotten, and it is the responsibility of future generations to ensure that such tragedies never happen again. This ending not only concludes a personal story, but also becomes a memorial for all the silent victims of war. Number 2. Attack on Titan. The ending of Attack on Titan is one of the most controversial endings in anime history. After years of building Eren as a symbol of freedom, rebellion and strong-will, the final episode suddenly present a version of him whose motivations feel rushed, confusing, and in some moments, completely contradictory to his past actions. One of the biggest problems with the ending is how fast everything wraps up. Heavy themes like freedom, destiny, hatred, and choice are all squeezed into a short conclusion, making it feel more like damage control than a proper resolution. The relationship between Eren and Mikasa, which had been subtle and complex for years, is suddenly pushed to the forefront at the very last moment in a way that feels forced rather than earned. And finally, the message itself divided fans. Despite all the sacrifices and destruction, the world still continues the same cycle of violence. For many viewers, this ending wasn't tragic, deep, or realistic, it was simply unsatisfying. Number 1. Violet Evergarden. we reach an emotional conclusion to a journey that began in the very first episode of the series. Violet finally receives a letter that hints at the fact that Major Gilbert is alive, something that had always made her heart race. Despite her doubts and fears, she travels to a remote island to face the truth. Their moment of reunion isn't an exaggerated romantic scene, but a raw, real encounter filled with years of pain and longing. Gilbert runs from the shame of his past, and Violet, now an independent and mature person, insists with all her heart that her choice is simply to stay by his side, not to obey him. This ending shows that Violet is no longer a tool of war. She is a human being with deep emotions who has come to understand the meaning of love that was once just a word to her. The world around them is changing, too. She is a human being with deep emotions who has come to understand the meaning of love that was once just a word to her. The world around them is changing, too. Cities are becoming more modern, the postal company will likely become a part of history someday, and letters will be replaced by technology. But Violet's work as an auto-memory doll remains meaningful until the very end because she is a bridge between hearts that still don't know how to express their feelings. The ending of the film is not just Gilbert's return, but also a renewed emphasis on Violet's growth. She has found her path, accepted her pain, and can now choose the future she wants for herself. It is an open yet hopeful ending. Their love story doesn't end, it's just beginning. And that wraps up our journey through some of the most heartbreaking anime endings ever created. If you felt even one emotional damage today, make sure to hit the like button, it really helps the channel out. Got an ending that shattered your soul but didn't make the list? Tell me in the comments, I'm always reading your thoughts. And hey, if you love diving deep into anime moments that hit way too hard, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay strong, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one.